Well, thank you again for joining us here tonight on our 253rd broadcast here in the Issues Room. We come your way on Tuesdays and Fridays, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Today was a very hot day here in the U.S., especially here on the East Coast. I'm not sure what it was like in the other parts of the country, but specifically here in the state of Pennsylvania, it was a hot day. I'm kind of still hot, even though air conditioner is on. That's what it is. Everything is extreme when it comes to America. Um, when you think about it, when the winter is here, it's cold, and I'm saying cold. When the summer is here, it's hot, and I mean hot. But thank you for joining us, Volcano Shelton here with you. Moses Sandy wouldn't be with us tonight. He is bereaved, and we want to say on behalf of the platform and the viewers out there, we want to express our condolence to Mr. Sandy for the loss of a family member. We hope that he's hanging in there and being strong. So he won't be with us tonight, and we just want to be in prayers with him as he goes through his moment of bereavement. Um, Again, these things happen. Life has a span, and nothing we can do. We cannot question the power of God. We don't know uh, when that takes place, and all we can do is to embrace it and hope that the person who is deceased is safe, importantly, safe and in a better place. Those are the two things I think about, because the truth here is that no one takes away their gains in this world. No one that I know of takes away the gains in this world. Even if we try to put everything in the grave with them, like the pharaohs in the days of the pyramid, it doesn't change anything. You still cannot utilize those things because you are not alive. So again, Moses, on behalf of the Issues Room and our many viewers, will say, stay strong and hang in there, and we are with you in prayers. We also want to remind you here tonight that the Issues Room is moving on to Sunday as the only day we're going to broadcast, and it will be at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. in Liberia, and this takes place on September 15th, which will be our new broadcast day and time. Sunday, September 15th, will go officially one day a week, and at 3 p.m. here in the US, 7 p.m. in Liberia. But in the meantime, we'll continue our broadcast on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 11 p.m. in Liberia. We'd like to encourage you to please join us, share the word. I know that there are competing priorities, many platforms out there. You have the Profit Key, you have Spoon Talk, you have the Closing Argument, you have Lofa Julius, you have this one, that one, the other one, the one on the sidewalk, the one in the corner, all the platforms, everybody. You got Charlotte Roberts, you got our man, what do you call him? What a guy now? I think there's a beef going on. I don't know if I should use the word homosexual beef that is going on. There's Robert Bangura and another guy called Karishma who says now he's a female. So a lot of things going on social media. And this is all about Liberia. For real, is this the best we can give back to our country? Our country that is so messed up, and we're trying to rebrand it and to re-image it. So I wonder if we're really going to go anywhere with this. And I've been thinking about it. What's wrong with this country? How did we get to be the laughing stock in the Committee of Nations? How did we get to be the lowest? And no one wants to accept it, right? Look at the caliber of people who became president in Liberia. Thieves, and their associates plummeted our country to the bottom, to the abyss. And even in this new dispensation, a new political season, a new territory of new leadership in 7 months, all of the things that are trending out of the country, it's still not good for us. Is this all we can offer? Do we understand the medium of social media? Is social media the place that we come to naked ourselves? Is social media the place we come to expose ourselves? Is social media the place that now if somebody hacks into your account, it's different. If somebody goes into your personal, but when you literally, come out here and exposing and fighting at each other, it tells you that Liberia is so divided, not just in Liberia, but even internationally. Look at a conglomeration of organizations all over the place. People come together, they say they're going to form organizations, and within no time, they break apart and they splinterize, and they're going in separate directions, and they break the bond. How are those organizations going to thrive? When they say there's strength in numbers, and so you break the strength by going your separate ways. Churches breaking up. Everybody wants to get rich. Everybody wants the offering. Everybody wants the tithe. When accordingly it should be for the work of God. So you have pastors and preachers and evangelists all breaking up and going on their own. And they're utilizing social media as the place. Everyone is doing something. But it's not in the name of pushing our country forward. We've been so individualistic and we've never been able to unite. We've never been able to unite. And I don't know if this is going to happen. So why did we create a holiday called Unification Day? I believe it's in the month of May by President Totman. We've not been able to unify. Then we have a fratricidal civil war that created a whole nother conundrum that broke the country into pieces. And we have not healed from it. And even with the call for the establishment of War and Economic Crimes Court, people say, oh, no, 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 no. You talk about other people, say, oh, no, 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 no. You talk about this one, no, 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 no. Everything is a political issue in Liberia. How political can you be? You never even entered the University of Liberia to study political science, but you're more of a politician just by sitting down to what that foolish place they call Intellectual Forum Center. You're chopping, but you say they're arguing the issues, the discourse. What type of country is this? That all we do, sit there and just talk nonsense all day with no hair, no tail, and we're not making sense. Small thing. Liberia was once a place where we could discuss the day, the tomorrow, and the future. Today, we don't discuss the future. Everything we talk about is in the now. Everybody wants to get rich now. Everybody wants to climb the mountain now. Everyone wants to get at the top now. Can you imagine you leave power in 7 months? You're fighting just to say they think it's for you and only you. You can't wait for your other 6 years, or the next 10 rather within 6 years. Can you not wait? All the fighting you're doing now, that one will bring you back to power. You still got to wait. The people substituted you. And you play football. You play football. You know what it means when they put our hand all of day. You know this song? When they substitute you know what it means. They're already finished telling you, say, can't sit down. Because how you there, you don't even want, you know how to pass the ball. You can't even, you almost score on us there. In fact, you score on us. Now we got to fight to redeem. Then you fighting, you won't come out on the field. No. You got to wait. Alphonso, that is situation, my brother. Social media not care our country, yeah?
I know.
Us, because the things that we should be doing on social media that should be positive, we turn it on ourselves. Every little bad thing in the country, we throw it on social media. We think we're hating the country. Not knowing that us, we're hating. Because Liberia, our country, it will be there. How many people haven't died all of Liberia? How many people? Go back to the so-called progressive. That's why when I talk like this, people think that, I'm Congo man, or I for this. No. I'm just talking Liberia from a practical standpoint. How many people have not died all of Liberia? People who profess that they were going to make beggar rest $5. People who say, the Congo people, they all of this will change our country. In fact, you see the people that were killing today on our portal 13 minutes. That the reason why our country can't go nowhere So corrupt people. One will kill people, no corruption will be in the country. What happened to them? The indigenous looters from 1980, what happened to them? So how many people haven't died in our country and the country remains Liberia? It's not going to change. How many pillaging having it done to the minerals and the bread basket of the country, but the country still remain. They still got Chinese then digging all over the place, still looking for what they lost. They got people doing all kind of bogus deal. They can't even finish the iron in the country. They can't finish it. The country still remains. So what all of this for? Come in, my brother.
So thank you, Volcano, and thanks to the listeners. Share the link, get your colleagues to join. It's a very interesting show. But you're right, brother. You hit some very, very important points. The people, well, at Flomo Livingstone said something last week, and I told him I was going to borrow it. And what it was is that he said corruption fights back. So corruption will fight back. What we're seeing in Liberia today is the people who stole and enriched themselves overnight don't want to be held accountable. They're afraid that their wealth will be taken, their stolen wealth will be taken away from them. And so they're fighting back. And the way to do it, or the way they're trying to do it, is to cause confusion, to destabilize the whole place. First, to put fear in the government in the hope that the government will back off. And then if the government are back off, then of course they're using the Liberian term, then we'll just chakla it. So they're trying to chakla it. That's what they're doing. They're also trying to deceive the people. When these guys were stealing the millions from the central bank, when they were stealing the millions from a seller meter and all of those places, from the port and all of that, were they sharing for Canada? Were they sharing with those young children in the streets who walk around the street every day wearing CDC t-shirts and stuff? No, they were not. They became millionaires. They sent their children out of the country. The poor people walk around the street. They bought houses in other parts of Africa. Where is former finance minister? I'm told he has a home in Abidjan, and that's where he is. But you know what? Now that the government is going after them, they're now trying to frame this thing as if the government is going after CDC. So once again, they can get the people, children, to get in the streets again and follow them. When in fact, when they were stealing and making money, they didn't share with those people.
But not only that, they were stealing and
Yeah.
making money, they have the money and still they are not doing anything for the young people.
For the young people, they never did anything for the young people. They still
And they are
aren't doing
lying.
anything for the young people. Yeah, but they're fooling the young people to say, "Oh, they're coming after us. So you come. That CDC, that other coming after. When they come after us, then they will come to you next." No, that is not true. This fight against corruption is going after, as President Barker said, the witchcrafts, the corruption witchcrafts. And those people who steal are actual witchcrafts. So what is witchcraft? Witchcraft is a practice by which you hurt other people. You keep them down. You destroy their futures. And when you steal from the poor people, when you steal government resources, what are you doing? You're depriving the pregnant woman of prenatal care. So she dies in childbirth. Or her child doesn't get the proper care, so the child is born with a whole lot of diseases and deformities, mental challenges and problems. When you steal the money and the roads are not built, guess what happens? People don't travel, goods and services do not travel, so the farmers cannot bring their produce to market, so they remain poor and they can't send their children to school. They can't afford health care. You're killing them. So these are the witches that are being pursued. It's not all of CDC. And this message needs to go across to those young people so they will stop getting, because these people don't put their children in the streets. These people themselves don't get in the street. They don't put their children in the street. A lot of them children are out of country. It's these poor children they are fooling that will get in the street, that will get arrested. Some of them could get killed in the process. And
But
I
let me
think
just
we
add
need to
this quick
send
while you
this message to them.
let me just add this quick while you're in lane.
Yeah,
Samuel Taylor kids in Minnesota. He read something from his daughter, and then
yeah.
finally the American people say, "Hey, no, 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 you're on sanctions, so your kids can be here because they're on taxpayers' money. They need to join you." He said it's his greatest
Yeah.
regret. So to tell you now that he doesn't even want his kids in Africa, needless to say, Liberia.
Liberia.
That tells you how disingenuous these people are. They have never built a society where we all can thrive and have an opportunity. Now, you talk about who did what and who didn't do what. I remember when I was growing up, my little friend back in the day, it was 1987 or 88. No, I think 88, 89, 88. I was in high school, but I didn't have, any means. So the people too were in high school, but they got a vacation job. I still remember it was the Ministry of Information. And they worked and they got paid. They even gave me $50. All of that pay. I told them 1987, right? 87,
That's a
88.
lot of money. Yeah.
That was a lot of money. I bought me a
Mhm.
nice pair of shoes. But the point I'm making here, the government then will have created opportunities for students who were on vacation break to have something to do so that they will not be depending on parents. They could make their own little small money and be able to get some things, right? Now,
Yep.
there's nothing going on called vacation job. I will be leaving Liberia. I don't hear about it. But when you alone taking all the money, at least, man, in your community, you can identify, say, you send me 10 smart students. Let them can do something here in the office, like even inter office envelope, you're taking places or you're doing something, running errors. Or you come shadow, learn some of the work in here if you want. What you want to be, somebody who is a administrative secretary. Okay, you're a shadow here, but you will get paid for it, right? You go in some of that corrupt money you stole,
Mhm.
and at least at a $200-300 per person, you give it to those kids. That's something you've done. But these guys, they take all the money, they drink beer, they brag, they sponsor the concubines, they send them overseas, they build houses, they have more cars, they eat on Facebook lobsters, and they show the paw of the lobster to the ordinary people, and that's what they've done. That's what they've done. And so it has not been of any help. So everybody is poor and a few people rich. So the point I'm making,
Yep.
Alfonso, as I said from the onset here,
Mhm.
have no one who are patriots. What is happening now in this government? And it's so hurtful that I don't know how much can a person gain at the expense of the downtrodden masses. Gain by your wisdom, by your competence, by your education, and stay within the means of why you were given an opportunity to work. Don't try to amass overnight wealth at the expense
Yep.
of the poor people. And this is what we see. Nothing has changed. Joseph Yuma Boyka cannot change the culture of corruption in Liberia. He cannot. Because he's already surrounded by people who are looking out for themselves. They've started their own operations within the operation. There's splinter operations within the operation. So the more you listen to to what is trending in the country, it becomes depressing. But quickly before we continue, let me bring in our studio guest here, Better Jebedu or Better Jebeju, Better Jebeju, Sylvanus Tipayson. Tipayson, welcome to the show. You're a little too far, but we can take it. Your lighting and stuff. However, it's good to have you here tonight. Welcome to the Issues Room for the first time. We've been trying to catch you. It's been on and off. You finally said this is the moment, and you wanted to come here just to join us and have a contribution to the show. I'll give you the opportunity now to quickly tell us who you are, tell the audience, and then we'll go into the conversation.
Thank, thank you, Mr. Shelton, and my fellow panelists, Mr. Yano. I'm Sylvanus Tipayson.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm Sylvanus Tipayson, in Liberia. And the
Are you,
prophecy,
are, are you hearing the crack?
yeah, I don't know where it coming from. Is it from me?
Yes, it's coming from you. Yeah, there's a lot of. He will come back. Yeah, so Alfonso, so that's where we are. We have to keep talking this financial situation now because this our time thing has killed Liberia. This our time thing since this whole new political climate since after one of the things that hurt me, Alfonso, why did we kill more than 500,000 people in the name of justice, in the name of fighting corruption, in the name of freedom of speech, in the name of progress? Why did we kill 500,000 people? I say even up to 1 million people, and we continue to go backwards. But we have a sampling size. If we were doing research between Liberia and Rwanda, we have a sampling size to draw from. We have a case study to draw from. Rwanda war, Liberia's war. Here we are, two countries parallel, but one has made an enormous progress. Enormous progress. Because they put in structure, they unite, and then they're moving the country forward. But on our own side, everybody continue to just steal, 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 steal. And the funny thing is, they just dying and leaving the thing they're stealing. That can be a message to the other people who still want to steal. You dying and leaving what you're stealing because it's just a temporary enjoyment or a temporary benefit. You still die and leave it. What more? Alfonso, what more?
And the worst thing, Volcano, is that not only are they stealing, they're really not putting anything in place for the other people. How difficult is it really to help the young people? You just gave a very good example earlier about vacation school. Opportunities were being created for young people. There's a lot of opportunities. Somebody and myself were talking the other day. Government has a fleet of vehicles in that country. We have a lot of children, young people walking the streets who do not have jobs. Let's just begin from saying, look, all government vehicles, let's say all senators and representatives, take your vehicles to this place on the bypass for them to be washed. That's the car wash we have set up. We collect 100 people and 100 young people and put them there to work there to wash government vehicles. And we pay them $5, $10 a week, $20 a week to feed their family.
And
You
that's
have
just for vacation school though, when they go on
yes,
break. So they
yes,
can be able to raise them.
yeah,
Because education now in Liberia is like buying
yeah,
gold.
yeah. So you would have just created jobs and income for those people. 177 years we celebrated our independence. Do we have a postal system? We do not. I went to Washington, D.C., and I went to the Postal Museum and I walked through the Postal Museum. And I encourage Liberians who are interested in Postal Service to do that. As soon as you get out of the train, Union Station, you just make your way to the Postal Museum. I walked through the Postal Museum and the catalogs start from one point, how this country started the Postal Service, to where they are today with airplanes. It started with people walking to deliver mail. I'm saying all of this to say that that's another means of creating jobs in that country. Again, students, we don't even have to wait for them for vacation time. High school students, they come from school 2 p.m., go deliver mails on this side of town. You will get your $5 at the end of the week, and then you go home and go study. We'll be accomplishing two things right there. We'll be putting money in the hands of the young people so they can take care of themselves and continue their education. And we'll be developing and cultivating a postal system that is essential for communication, for trade. People can put things in the mail and send it to other people as we do here today. We go online, we order things, they deliver them to us. Similar things can happen in that country. So there's a lot of ways that jobs could have been created in that country for the young people. The government that came to power that said it was the young people government abandoned the young people. They can't tell us how many jobs they created over the 6 years they were in for young people because they did nothing. They didn't create jobs. All they did, they put the young people in the street. And I'm going back to the point you made. The culture of destruction is political. Why? Because there are no alternatives. There are no alternatives. We didn't give the children alternatives. What we did, we said, come and march in the street for us. Come make noise for us. Come do Zikwe for us. At the end of the day, we'll give you $5. We'll give you 3 cups of rice. You go home. So that has now turned into a job for them. If those people, those boys that jump in the streets, go to airport and go meet people, if they had to get up 6 o'clock in the morning and go to work, you think they had time to go get on somebody people and go to the airport and stand out there for hours to meet somebody? No, they have to go to work and earn a living. But our politicians, what they've done over the years is they try to keep the people hungry so the people can be tied to them so the people can always follow them instead of empowering the people to stand on their own. And I hope the Boycott government can break that tradition. And one of the ways to do it is job creation. He has the arrest agenda, which, if it's properly implemented, can create a lot of jobs. We talked the other day about tourism, just local jobs alone that tourism can create. We don't even have to begin from international visitors coming to do tourism. Local tourism alone. In Monrovia, people go to the beaches, they go do that, they go to these places, they go to Patawi waterfall, they go to Cape Mount. That's local tourism. We can, if we can develop that, that alone can create jobs, local jobs, because people will start cooking restaurants and selling food in those locations. People will make act and craft and start selling it in those places, and gradually you have multiple jobs created on the local level. So I hope the government takes advantage. That's one way we break this whole cycle of all our young people there in the street doing the Amanda away too that they don't even understand. So do we still have Mr. Tiverson?
He hasn't shown up yet. He hasn't come back yet. But that's the absolute truth here. That's the absolute truth. You know, when and before you came in, when I was talking about all of these so-called intellectual centers, they continue to say they are intellectual centers. All the go there to talk the same old Liberian filtered politics. I call it Soniwen politics.
Mhm.
Some of them are not even students of politics. And they invite some of these guys who are looking for opportunity to get into the House of Representatives. They go there, they show up, put the $500 down, they drink hot, everybody yell. The man talk crap to them, and that's the day.
Yep.
And the newspapers themselves are not even helping. The
Nope.
media itself is not even helping. Everything that is happening in Liberia, some are so over exaggerated to the point that sometimes I wonder how united are we and how are we filtering what we should tell the world about ourselves. I sometimes wonder about it. People talk about freedom of speech, and I'm of the conviction that freedom of speech comes with a price. It comes with a price. When you say things that are spiteful, that are inciting, and you say it's freedom of speech, then there's a problem with you.
Hmm.
For instance, the issue with CDC gathering the other day and the police coming out and people are talking and everyone has you know, opinion about it. Why did the police come out in the numbers? When you have a fragile peace, when days leading up to it, the standard bearer of the largest opposition party comes out and said, "Don't take our weakness, or don't take us our weakness
For
rather for
granted or what?
or
Mm.
something."
Mm.
And then you got the other man called is a secretary general talking plenty and threatening. And then you got young people who are given an opportunity to be interviewed instead of talking, with peace at the center of the conversation. Everyone is threatening. Then days later, they see them gather in the numbers again. Maybe did not inform the government or did not inform the security to say, hey, I know you will see this as unusual, even though we have the right to assemble our party headquarters, but we want some protection from even you, the government, right? It is how it should be done,
Mm-hmm.
right? Am I right? So that
Yep.
way, that way, because in as much as CDC has a party headquarters, it doesn't mean you can just come and take 100,000 people and put it in there. Then what we call crowd control. What do we call capacity?
Exactly.
Capacity, right?
Mm-hmm.
Meeting the capacity of that space. Now, if somebody
Mm-hmm.
faints and die, who is it on? So
Yep.
when people jump to all of these things and are thinking, and it bothers me, President, we are live abroad. You can't just come put 200 people in your basement and say you're having party. Something happen, he bears the brunt of it,
No.
right? When you
No.
when you're
So
political,
it is.
eh,
You can.
go ahead. You want to say
No,
something?
I'm saying you can't do that. I'm agreeing.
Yeah.
No, I'm
So when
agreeing with you. I say you can't do that. Yeah.
your political headquarters is getting crowded, it raises a lot. Why are these people gathering when, in fact, the leader has been threatening, the secretary general has been threatening, other members of the party been threatening? So we, the security, will not sit and be reactionary. We have to be proactive. And so it's necessary for us to be within proximity. So in case of anything, and if it
Mhm.
goes out of hand, we can quench it. And then you take
Mhm.
that and you politicize it again. And in this modern society, that is how we live. People say, oh, that private property is making kind. Police controls the country. They can knock on any door and come in. And if you say, where's your warrant? They can stand right there, make a phone call, and they say, listen, allow the police in if you don't feel anyhow. That's the way it should be. But everything, and it saddens me that the very people who should be creating the kinds of conversation, Alfonso, to enlighten the society, to share with them what they have experienced in the super world, those very people who are renegades and acting and threatening, they brought our own spoon called Isaac Doe. They had to even call Titi Cannon to chastise him yesterday, making a national threat that there will be equal and opposite reaction. But he's sitting right here in America.
Yeah.
For him to be the one to say, gentlemen, yeah, no, I'm being frank with you. For him to be the one to say, gentlemen, I know that the police came, but so long they didn't do anything to harm anybody, it is part of the peacekeeping or the serve to protect as part of the code of conduct or the creed. Maybe they saw too many people at the party headquarters. So for the future, let us alert the police that will be converging. And even if the crowd swells, we can even ask for the support to come around. No. The man they're threatening, it will be equal and opposite. I don't know whether he became a physicist or the man called in Ludon Taylor of motion.
Quite opposite reaction. So it's part of our problem and part of the biggest problem we have. And this is U.S. Undersecretary of State for African Affairs said it during our war. He said, "Yeah, stop this war. If you don't stop this war and this war reaches Monrovia, Liberia will go 100 years, at least 100 years behind. Oh, we won't do that. Oh, we don't care." But we didn't understand what this man meant. He didn't mean that somehow all the streets would be uprooted and forests will grow all over, even though that happened. But that's not what he meant. What this man meant was that there would be so much brain drain from that country that the people who would take charge around the country would not even have a clue what to do. That a whole generation, if not two or three generations of young people would have been damaged. So much so that they would not have the capacity to manage the country and to run it. That's what we have today. So our president became George Weah, the caliber president. So if you can't describe that as going 100 years behind, I don't know what you mean by that. That's exactly what happened. Who was our finance minister? Who was the mayor of the city of Monrovia? Jefferson Koji. Jefferson Koji was the city mayor of Monrovia. As our leaders. I said, those then became the leaders and the opinion, the opinion leaders in that country. Jefferson Koji then calling the shots. That's why we have to contend with, and that's why we have to fight. Let's go to the media. You're right. Lola, you came very prepared tonight. The media is part of, if not 50 to 60% of our problem in our country. The people who call themselves media people. Sometimes look at the newspaper headlines and I say, where are we going? They sit down, people give them $50, $75, put it in the pocket, and they publish anything. They don't care about ethics. They don't care about, the peace and security of the country. They just write nonsense that undermines the country and the economy of the country. As international people who be investors, even Liberians overseas who want to go put money in there, see these things, they won't go there. Now, let's talk about freedom of speech. Freedom of speech is not absolute.
Stop on the freedom of speech. I'm begging you. We'll come to it.
Yeah,
But the point you just made, that
okay.
investors will not go there. You know who will come there? The
Yeah.
Chinese who don't give a crap.
No.
The Chinese.
Exactly.
I just want
Yeah.
us to touch that quick before I don't want to
Very,
forget about that. So the real
very good
investors
point.
who will come with
We're not
social
sure.
corporate responsibility to the communities, who will build
Yep.
schools, who will build banks, who will build clinics within the locale for where they are mining and doing things. No,
Yeah.
those kind
They
of
will not
investors
come.
will not come.
Nope.
Chinese
Nope. You're
man
right.
that come with his slipper and his basic enemy, with
Yeah.
his short trousers and his one basket hat, that the one that's coming and causing our poor native people, talking to them any kind of way, taking
Yeah.
mineral, chemical, and throwing it in the river and the creeks and causing damage to our
Hmm.
ecosystem, to the health of the people. And in the night, they can get on one canoe and cross into Sierra Leone and get out because we
Yep.
have bad governance, because we have bad people. When a president takes all of the mineral and put it in your office and say anything to go to anybody who will make the decision, tell me who will take the country serious, like you said. But I just wanted to point that
Yep.
out that good business investors
Significant point.
in Liberia, it will be the Kwakwa, the Bagbati, the Flakaje.
Hmm.
You understand me? The one that I just want to come into come dig and steal and leave. Got a Chinese man called and said the real
Yep.
minister in my country.
Yeah.
What Liberian can
Yeah.
go to China and even own
Yep.
a slipper business? We got
No
two
way.
languishing in a Korean jail or pressing whatever you want to call on mere speculations. The we are government did nothing about it. Where do you fight for your citizens? Where do you fight for your citizens? Prostitution is a serious matter in Asian countries. And then you got people just come and blackmail these two officials of government and you leave them there to die. But you got Korean then coming to Liberia and doing nonsense. You got Chinese coming to Liberia and doing nonsense. You got Lebanese coming to Liberia and doing nonsense. You got Indians coming to Liberia and doing nonsense. Let's talk so and talk so. What type of bad country is this? What type of bad leadership is this? What type of wicked people are these to their own people?
Hmm.
So I just wanted
Yeah.
to stress that point. Only good investors will stay
It's a.
away and bad investors will come because they know there is no degree of accountability. They can do whatever they want and they get the hell out with their gains and leave the people in absolute degradation. Continue, Alfonso, in your freedom of speech.
Absolutely true, and you're correct. I mean, a bad situation does not invite good people to come. It doesn't invite good investors to come. It doesn't entice good investors to come because they have to meet, as you say, responsibilities in their own countries, in their own countries as well. You take people money from the bank, you come to invest it in Liberia. You have to if you're from the US, you have to follow US laws. So nobody's going to take that clean money and take it away. So now you have money launderers and these looters from China and other places coming into the country, and they don't care about creating jobs or creating good jobs because they don't have that responsibility. All they have to do is bribe the officials of government and then get whatever they want to get out and leave, which is the case of that Chinese man and many, many others are in that country who are just looting the country. And it appears to me the CDC people want to create tension in that country to drive good investors away. And that is why I think it was a good idea that the police intervened in that so-called rally they were having over there, because police has a responsibility. It is their statutory duty to protect lives and property. So you don't wait until you see people fighting and before you go in. If you can prevent it, prevent it. So the Constitution of Liberia guarantees, freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, and all of that. But the Constitution also gives the police or the government through the police the responsibility to make sure that in the exercise of people's freedoms, they don't infringe on other people's freedoms. That is why the police ask you, let us know. Then we'll give you police to protect and guide you in your exercise of your freedom. A, so other people do not intrude to disrupt your enjoyment and your exercise of your freedom. B, so in the exercise of your freedom, you do not infringe on other people's freedoms and rights as well. So, unfortunately, a lot of people don't understand these concepts. So they go and mobilize thousands of people and they say, well, we're in our compound and whatever. Now, let's say people start venting. Let's say a fire breaks out in that place. Who's going to go there? Government resources, public resources, fire brigade. Let's say a fight breaks out over there. Police. That is the reason why it's important to let police know. So police is there up front. Crowd control. Fire service tells you, well, there's the capacity that you have. Therefore, you cannot put more people than the capacity can take in this place. That is the reason why we go through all of these things in developed countries. But again, our people don't know that. So you got thousands of people. You say that our party, that our horse here, so yeah, they come. No, because if something were to happen, again, it's public resources that will be applied towards that. And if it's prepared, look at the situation in Nuclear Town the last time when the pastor was holding a crusade. Police
Mhm.
was not alerted. There was no crowd control. People died. People died. People got injured. It was in vain.
And
The
nothing was
police
given
has a
to the family.
responsibility to intervene. Yeah,
Nothing was given to the
nothing.
family. All his collection he collected. The man was riding convoy. The so-called pastor
Yeah,
called Sylvanus Abraham, what thing he was riding convoy, Range Rover and this and that. Ordinary
yeah,
man just come from nowhere and lie to the people, say he pastor. And I went Liberia, I said, who the guy? He said, oh, that man can heal. I said, okay, I know that I mean he will heal. You understand me? This is a serious matter, Alfonso.
hmm,
Serious matter. I'm sitting here thinking back to the
yeah,
issue of how people can just come to Liberia and do anything. Lucas Riches, your man called himself missionary, went to Liberia, cut that little girl throat just to kill her because she was pregnant. Tried to make her to abort the child. But what did they do? Free that man in all of that without even, I don't even know how to put it. Then they're talking about the evidence was not sufficient. So the woman just sit down and call her own throat. You ever do that nonsense here in America, Alfonso?
no,
They will
no,
use you
no.
here first before they even send you home. You will do
They
that
would
time.
you would do that time here, and then once the time finished, then they tie you and send you back home. That's what they would
I
do.
was in Liberia when that
That's what they would
Princess
do.
Copperly
So,
died. I went to the site. Yeah, there be a junction. The crowd that was there that morning. What they say? They get her
mm,
TB. Can you imagine that? You've seen the human being body that they say the person got TB. You'll be
mhm.
surprised. And all
so,
of these
so,
things are tied to foreigners. And we let
so,
them go.
so
You know the
people
story.
with TB,
You
People
coming
with
quick.
TB can just be walking the street and
Yeah,
they fall down and
yeah.
die.
You coming quick. You remember the story of the boy on it was Center Street who just took one peppermint candy and the people choke him, and that was terrible time. If you
Hmm.
remember that supermarket story.
Yep,
So we have
I
historically
remember.
where people from foreign nations have come to Liberia and done wrong to our people, killing, committing crimes, heinous crimes. And we got these useless guys call themselves lawyers from Louis Arthur Graham School of Law, take on these cases, bribe the judges, and let these people out. Amen.
In
Amen.
addition, Volcano, in addition to bribing the judges and the jurors, here's the other thing that prosecutors do. So prosecutors go and take money from the defendant, and then they fail to produce the required evidence. So they go to court with a weak case, intending not to win the case because they've already gone to the defendant, and the defendant has already paid them some money. Sound to go, they're supposed to prosecute the defendant, but to go to court with a weak case with weak evidence. They don't present all of the evidence and all of that. They don't present fingerprints, for example. They don't present witness testimonies and stuff. So then the judge goes into the case. The jury looks at the case, and the case is weak. It doesn't have the evidence. So then the person is acquitted. Meanwhile, that is a deliberate undertaking by the prosecutors who's supposed to actually be prosecuting the person. That's one honest strategy to do, in addition to, of course, bribing judges and bribing jurors and all of that. For example, to say, oh, it was Volcano, we saw Volcano, he came here yesterday and set the house on fire. And they could go next door and look at the video camera, for example, and collect the video footage that will see Volcano. We can collect fingerprints that will see Volcano hand on it, something on the touch and all of that. But they will decide not to submit all of those pieces of evidence in court. So then the defense said, "But where's the evidence? Where's the, you say you saw Volcano? Where's that?" And then because the case is weak, then Volcano doesn't get convicted. That's one way those people also undermine people's cases. Which is what I heard happen in the Lucas Riches case and stuff like that, where the prosecutors did not provide certain evidence in that case. They
Yeah,
sat on it
yes,
apparently
come
because
back.
they were bribed.
No, he come back. I said our
Yeah.
guest. May come back. Let me see if you see me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. Maybe he's having some technical issues, but let's try him
May
and
see
see.
it's a device. Yeah, you know. So Alfonso, let me just go quick to intermission. If you're just joining us here, welcome, gentlemen, ladies. It's good to have all of you tonight. James David, always good to see you. I'm a Frima, of course. You're one of our avid viewers. Thomas Awaji, fellow Dylan. Good to see you here tonight. Hashim Fambule, Raymond Clark, of course, the usual people. Say thank you for joining us here tonight. It's a pleasure having all of you. Um, Romo 8700, or Flomo 8700, actually. It's an F I'm looking at here. It's good to see you. And try to invite others, man, to join us here tonight. Great conversation. We're just looking at the bits and pieces of Liberia. you know, we're talking about the things that matter to our country. Moses Sandy is not here with us tonight. He's bereaved, and so he took the day off, and he'll be taking Friday off. We share our condolence with him. We express, our empathy for the situation. He lost a family member who is dear to his heart, and so he needed to mourn in these moments. And so we just want to collectively say our condolence to you, Mr. Sandy, for your loss. But we're here Tuesdays and Fridays, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Again, if you look at the rolling script there, it shows that we'll be moving to Sunday as our official broadcast day, starting September 15th at 3 p.m. Sunday. September 15th will be the only day once a week we'll be broadcasting on a Sunday. And so we're starting on September 15th at 3 p.m., 7 p.m. GMT. So please be reminded that again on Sunday, September 15th, will be our maiden broadcast for our new season, meaning once a week. This stuff, we're working men. Everyone is so committed to the people that are eating free money over there, and we here fighting for them. So, quite frankly, we we want to take a break and do this once a week, and hopefully, we'll still be able to maintain our audience and the audience in Liberia, where we can engage the audience in Liberia. Priscilla Myers, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us. It's a pleasure. Yvonne Ayo, it's a pleasure having you. Thank you, yes, for sharing your condolence with Moses. Alfonso, as we continue this conversation, fugitive. I remember there was a fugitive movie that was on TV back in the day. The Fugitive, you remember it? Um, and I think the fugitive had some false arm or something, but very strong guy. But fugitives are on the run. Fugitives don't go into elaborate lifestyle and build in preparation that they were going to be fugitive, right? The case of Samuel Toer. Samuel Toer prepared himself knowing that he was going to be a fugitive. And he's laying down in his waterbed in Abidjan or wherever in the Ivory Coast, living large. Living large. Now he sends a statement, but coming back the statement, he's not doing it. And nobody accusing Samuel Toer. If Samuel Toer is innocent, then of course that can be proven in the court of competent jurisdiction, right? You're the legal mind. But where do you see fugitive preparing ahead of time? The man prepared ahead of time. He built his mansion, he built his space, and now he's enjoying it, while the Liberian people who supposed to get the basic incentives for the livelihood have been deprived. And here he is having the best time of his life and still making big mouth. Coming.
So you're correct. And I was reading to a statement. I didn't even understand exactly what he's saying. I'm coming back to Liberia to defend myself. I will be exonerated, but I will not come back to Liberia under a corrupt government that is not following the rule of law. Is he coming or is he not coming? So these children, they throw wars around and think people are stupid. But Liberia and the Ivory Coast have extradition treaty. So if I think if I were advising Mr. Tua, what I would tell him is find some lawyers, let them go through the process of finding you a bond, then you come in the country. So when they catch you, you go to the court to report yourself, they just get a bond and you go home. That's the legal advice I will give him. If he doesn't do that, then the government goes after him and brings him. Now it becomes a long process and he will still in jail before even he can get a bond and the process continues. As a matter of fact, the government lawyers can argue that he's a flight risk and he therefore shouldn't get a bond to get out, and that could impact him. But how do we and when do fugitives, prepare when the fugitives who deliberately steal, who deliberately do
And I
wrong,
thought to put it in there because
west of the world?
fugitives are always on the run. They don't have a stability, right? They can run at any minute, so they're always taking
Yeah.
hiding places, surreptitious places, where people less they're less
Yeah.
noticeable,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
So, so they take a lot of resources and they're on the run. You're right, but this man's living in a mansion in the Abidjan. I understand, but the fact of the matter is, the 99 day for row, 1 day for master. So we are at that point where my cat and my dog are trying to make fuss. So keep talking. Let me separate them. I think I'll come right back.
Okay. All right. So yes, as we're saying, so people just do things at will and believe that nothing will happen. Nothing whatsoever will happen. And here we are 7 months in the new government, and we're hearing so many things. And these are the things that sink my heart. It really sink my heart because When in my lifetime, in Thomas Awaji's lifetime, in Yvonne Ayo lifetime, in Priscilla Meyer's lifetime, in James Davis' lifetime, Amma Freeman's lifetime, when we can see good for our country. Flomo Livingstone is a proponent of this government. This new government, he is an advocate. But when is he going to see good? Now, we can't frown on the president for appointing based on his uh, will and pleasure, but we can frown on him when people keep crying on certain names and he's not investigating and taking action. For years, the Liberian people cried on Samuel Toure, starting with that $25 million mop-up exercise, $16 billion disappearance. This one, that one, taking road fund money to pay salary according, just doing things all kinds of way. The Liberian people cried on Nathaniel McGill. Samuel Toure thought he was off the hook until they placed the sanction on him. They placed the sanction on, what's his name, McGill, to force Weah to take some steps. I hear the crowd on this Sylvester Grisby, oh man. They probably just look like some kind of job a whole day, just acting like he's smiling. But they say he ain't just eating everything. Now, I wanted to talk briefly before we go tonight, Alphonso, and I want you to stay with me. You know what they call office chief of staff or someone who considered your confidant, the person that you trust. And so if you are a president who is to fight corruption, who is to stand for justice, who is to stand for freedom of speech, who is to stand for fair play, transparency, accountability, then the person you bring to the closest of you must have those same attributes, because they are the buffer. They are the ones who are to funnel everything that gets to you, and it must be done with transparency. So you cannot have someone who their name just continue to cry, it's tied to this, it's tied to that, it's tied to that. And you're not acting and you're not asking yourself, but why is this happening? So what we found is that most of the ministers of state for presidential affairs who have become mini prime ministers in their own way, it has been a problem for the presidency. What do you say about a president in Boaka who is supposed to be a wise man, a man of wisdom, and he appoints at his will and pleasure? And I want to open the line since Alphonso is gone. I'm not sure if he's coming back. I want to open the line. Please call so you can weigh in on this before I wrap up here tonight. The number to call 404-272-2808. Please look right there on the screen. It's there because I want you to weigh in. You, our viewers, I want you to weigh in. Have something to say. I am believing that the chief of staff or state minister of the president must think, must be, must share in the president's vision, the president's directives. Now, if you have a corrupt president, then you have a corrupt state minister. But if you have a president who claims that I come to fight corruption, I come to hold people accountable, I come to take the stance to push our country forward, then you must have a state minister who serves as the conduit through which your country gets to you and the rest of the world gets to you. Must think like you, must see things like you, must understand you, must know your position, what you stand for, what you want to accomplish, must understand your strategic plan, your vision, and must drive those aspirations. But when you have everybody crying on your confidant, and your confidant is in little things here and there trying to get rich on the table, then it defeats the purpose. So President Boyka, this puppy called Sylvester Grisby, there's just too much talk about him. I'm not accusing anybody. I'm just saying you probably need to go back to the drawing board and do some thinking. Do some thinking, puppy. The same way you're crying on Nathaniel McGill. The same way you're crying on Samuel 12. Let me tell you something. When you come to make change, as soon as the people start crying on somebody, something not right. Why are they not crying on other people? There are other people in the government. You have to point out almost 3,000 people. Not everybody they just crying on, but they're crying on certain people. It means something is not right. And for your image and what you want to accomplish, I heard you in your cabinet meeting. You said that if some people come thinking that they're going to come get rich or do things, or they can't perform the job, they might forget it because they don't have loan. But when the Liberian people are continuing to alert you, to cry on certain people, then act, because then it means that you're really serious about corruption. I'm not saying that every cry that it got TS. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that every cry got TS, but you must look there to see if TS coming. And if TS not coming, you come back to the people and say, hey man, all that crying you're crying on Sylvester Grisby, I don't get it, man. To the independent what they call it, investigators, they have checked. Oh, the man not come back. I get it, man. To the my man, you back or you stay doing your thing. I get it, man. To the independent.
I've been by. I texted you off.
Okay, I'll give the man to the independent people so that they can investigate. And they have done the investigation. There's no TS. That's the way to go about it. But they keep crying on the one man, Flomo Livingstone.
Yeah.
I know you can't fight for your papa, but I'm telling you, he in the truth. The
people man, look, I'm not single fan like other parties.
The people keep crying on Sylvester Grisby. They crying on Memaka. They crying on the other one. They crying on Giddings. There's something not right. They crying on everybody.
Yeah. But I agree. If you read my comment, I just posted. I said, look, if the people are crying with one individual, mostly one individual, like for doing all type of shady thing, I think it's time for the president to probably investigate to see. I'm not saying, like you said, we're not saying he probably did it, but at least
you have to. The way I said it, I said the people crying. You want to make sure you see TS. And if you see TS, come back to them and say, "Oh, I cry out there. I didn't see TS."
Exactly. And for me, look, like I said, if the president do something wrong, you guys talk about it. That's why I follow you guys, because you guys are objective. You guys, speak on the right. Whatever the president is doing good, you talk about it. When they're doing wrong, you talk about it. Now, how it's supposed to be in media, like they started a full estate, how it's supposed to be. But look, the president need to investigate that situation, because there's so many shady things that are happening with the guy name always in it. At least it's time. You don't want to wait until the United States put censure on him, then before you want to do something. You don't want to do that. Look, when you guys are talking about the media, look, the media have to do better, okay? Like, what you guys do, you guys criticize when the government is doing wrong, and you guys give the government the credit when they're doing right. Now, how media is supposed to be. But most of the media I'm noticing, like, bro, they only focus on the negative. They just want to put a negative up there. And even when the president is doing good, they don't talk about it. And when the government, I don't just want to say the president, when the government is doing good, they don't want to talk about it. They just want to talk about the negative, and it's not good for the country, because other people will see it and they'll be discouraged to kind of invest in the country. And you're not just doing it to the president, you're doing it to everybody. Because, and like you said, we're all getting older. Every year we're getting older. And one of the things again, I think people have to. I mean, let me say that the media and whatsoever have to do is. No, most of the guys there, I don't think they are really journalists. Volcano. I don't know if they really went to school. I don't know. I'm just saying something.
Man,
Or they just.
but look, listen, people are hustling, my man. Look, there's a season for everything. Right now, they got more lawyers than cases in Liberia. Everybody going to law school.
Yeah.
Everybody going to law school. So more lawyers than cases. Now everybody is a journalist, so they take cell phone. Anything they see, they just record it. Welcome to Papi TV. Welcome to Opa TV. All kind of things going on, my man. So
it is true. It is true, man. It's just
ground. Journalism is a hustle ground right now.
That's true. And at least, I mean, it's not, at least if they're doing it the right way, I mean, people will know, but you just focus on like the negative and stuff like that. And people, like we like Brand have to, do better. For example, like not every negative thing like you said, I think not every negative thing will just be putting on social media and stuff like that about our country. We think we're doing good for the country, but we're actually doing bad. Because it says here time again, the next government out there will be doing the same thing. And the country, like you said, one of the questions I always have people like, but why they kill those 13 people? I don't know why you had to kill them, but I don't know why they kill them.
1980.
Oh, okay. But then I was not born after.
It was about 2 weeks to 3 weeks into the coup. They did a quick kangaroo court. And before we make our man, 13 good men, brilliant people, man, just executed for zero.
But my question to you is then why they kill those guys for corruption, and the corruption right now is so rampant? Why you kill those guys?
That ain't them, man.
Why you kill those guys? I mean, you kill someone for doing wrong, but now it's so rampant. Like, for example, guy, the last one before I can leave. Look, I know the president. One of the things the president needs to do is to either dismiss those who have refused to declare their assets, or freeze their pay according to the LACC recommendation. The president have to do that, and our legislature have to.
In America, when you got training to do at work, and that training is part of your certification, so that you can remain in compliant to continue your job. What the company does, if the deadline passes and they give a grace period and it passes, they place you on administrative leave without pay. Simple.
Yes.
President Biden just need to put those people on administrative leave or pay, or give one more grace period of the next 1 week. If you don't have it administrative leave or pay, your senior manager in the office becomes somebody there to take the job until you can.
I agree.
And I give you another 30 days. If it's not declared, I change you. Simple as that. How hard it is to do certain things? How hard? How hard it is. These are things that we do every day that makes America a great nation. And it's as simple as ABC. But we say we got book people, then they can't do anything that is bookish. Nothing that people can do that is bookish. That's
true though. That's true, like you said. Again, one of the disappointments Volcano have is that those Liberians are in the diaspora who learn, they went back. You think they went back to make a change, a good change, a positive change. Well, they are the same people, that disappoint me. Like, how will you be in the diaspora? You learn and you went back to, contribute to your country so that you improving what you learn here, but they are the same people that are corrupting the system. Like the previous administration, like Samuel Twain and those guys that were in America, you know the system here. But why will you go in like, bro? Then it's like you're improving the system. You dare to destroy the system. And one of the last things we don't really focus on is our legislature, the first branch of government. Those guys pass the law and they're not even respecting the law, like to declare their assets. You have a 73 House of Representatives, only about 28 declare their assets, and the rest refuse. The Senate, you got about 30, only 12 declare their assets. Those same people who pass the law are breaking the law. So what will you say about that, Volcano? I mean, how is the country going to move forward if the same people that pass the law breaking the same law?
Yeah. Liberia is in a quagmire. But thank you, my man, for your contribution.
All right, thanks.
Yeah. So as I move on to wrapping up here tonight, Alphonso had take care of some personal stuff. But the fact here is that these are simple things, simple elementary things. If I'm the president of Liberia and I say that this is what I want done, and this is what I voted upon, then I'm not going to compromise by any stretch of imagination and on any of those things. So first of all, before you become a member in my cabinet, I do my vetting. I appoint you, and there are political, what I would call alliances that took place, where the MDR sent the people, the Apeton sent his people. Those people who came and said, okay, in the second round, we want you to support you, Mr. Boaka, but what a little small thing you will give us, okay, yeah. But the standard is for all. Because what I want you, President Boaka, to understand tonight, you cannot run Liberia and have people who are brought to you respecting their parties. For the fact that you are now the president, it is one government, it is one direction, and everyone must conform who work within your government. So when you declare that everyone, all your government officials, I don't know at what tier, but at the highest tier, maybe from assistant minister all the way to minister, controller, those kinds of people who playing with the institutional finance, and you make that declaration, it's across all of the sectors within your government. Once you make that declaration and you set the tune, once you set the tune, everyone follows. If you give a deadline and they did not meet the deadline because maybe there's a process to declare asset, I've never declared mine, so I don't know. And if that asset is then declared, it's not declared, then you give a grace period. That grace period can be 2 weeks, whatever it is. And if they don't meet that grace period, then you place on administrative leave without pay, and give them an additional 2 weeks. Otherwise, you terminate and replace. You have more than 5.2 million people in that country. Are you telling me that when you hire, the ones that you hire, they are irreplaceable, they are indispensable, that they must disrespect you, and you keep them there? What type of power are you showing, Mr. President? What type of regards are you having for the Liberian people's vote? It's not about you now. It is about what you promised. It's about what you promised. Swift actions are critical, especially in a country that is yearning for progress. I repeat myself. Swift actions are critical, especially in a country that is yearning for progress. If you don't take action swiftly, you give the people reason to say, oh, it's a deja vu. You give the people reason to say, hey, God, what we went down the other road for? Because right now in Liberia, there are people who are regretting this rescue mission. So the onus is on you, Mr. President, to set the tune, to guide the tune, and to lead this mission. Now, forget about the train. I think you are a navigator now. You should be navigating this vessel because you're now in a vast sea of corruption, a vast sea of the lack of rule of law, a vast ocean of poverty, a vast ocean of illiteracy, all of these things. So you are now steering this vessel. So swift actions are critical to a people who are yearning for progress. When people want to go forward, they don't have the time for you to be doing, according to Eugene Fagon, Boko Yokbo. No, it's not the time for Boko Yokbo. It's not the time. And I continue to say, among 5.2 million people, if you can't find replacements, then I don't know what type of government you got and what type of government you're going to continue in 6 years. Because none of these people who think that they're connected to you must continue to occupy spaces when they are not producing. None of these people who are connected, who you appointed, if they're not producing, if they're not following the rule of law, if they're not following your mandate, should remain there. Don't tell me, say you can't find 5.2 million people. I mean, or find people among 5.2 million people. Don't tell me you can't do that. So, hey, President Parker, get serious, papi. Get serious. The president's job not easy. We told you, but you say you won't see what in the palm canal. To be leader of a country, to be leader of an institution, to be leader even in your own house. Sometimes the struggle is not easy. But when you stand by your principles, when you stand by your conviction, and you stand firm, the people around you will conform. Stop being slow to act. This Sylvester Grisman man to keep crying on, take a microscopic look. Except you are here in Songanatino. I'm not accusing, but I say except. Because Miguel and we are in Songanatino. It took the Americans to pressure we are. You don't want the Americans to come on you. Not because America not paying attention right now. They coming focus on the election. The way it's looking crazy already. The two candidates and we know who is who. But take actions. Let people not be crying on the other person. Let people not be crying on that other person and then you're not acting. Please, Mr. President, that would be my parting word tonight. I hope you will take swift actions which are critical to a country that is yearning for progress. Liberia wants to go forward. Liberia wants to make progress. And Liberia can only make progress when you, our leader, is swift and decisive. Please, Bokoyokpo, 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 that was before the elections or during the elections. You're now the president. Please act and act swiftly. Let's go to memory lane here quick and do our memory lane and call it a night. Let me quickly try to find it here. I know Dr. Mani Sumo sent us something. I thought I stumbled on it. And it seems to be in that series that we continue to do. Yes, and it's the realistic identification of the land called Liberia, the secrets, the lies, the truth, and this is part 4. So we've gone part 1, 2, and 3, and this is part 4. The caption is the realistic identification of the land called Liberia, the secrets, the lies, the truth. I'll build thee a great nation. I will take thee from mat to mattress. I will build thee a great nation with total development for higher heights. Those were the words of President William Richard Talbot Jr. And he was Liberia's only visionary president whose message was not received. And it shall come to pass afterward that I will pour out my spirit on all flesh. Your sons and your daughters shall prophesy. Your old men shall dream dreams, and your young men shall see vision. Acts 2:17. The open truth is that the famous Green Revolution was authored by President William R. Talbot Jr. and made popular by President Samuel Kayando. The open truth is that President William R. Talbot Jr. was a visionary. The open truth is, again, that Bensenville is the capital city of Montserrat County, but President Talbot had a vision to rename Bensonville to Bentall. Bentall is a composition of Ben for Benson and Tall for Talbot. Yea, Bentall. Unfortunately, President Talbot's dream for Bentall did not materialize until his untimely death in 1980. Bensonville was founded in 1822 by free slaves from the United States and named after Samuel Benson, a prominent abolitionist. The town is home to the Bensonville Baptist Church, the oldest Baptist church in Liberia. Or one of. The open truth is that the city of Monrovia was founded in 1816. The open truth is Monrovia City Corporation, the MCC, was established by law in 1973 and became operational in 1976. The open truth is that Monrovia is the oldest and biggest city in Liberia. The secret they don't tell you is Monrovia is the dirtiest city in Liberia. The lie they tell you is that the Monrovia City Corporation was established to clean the city. The open truth is that the Monrovia City Corporation is a Susu club of the president and city mayor where they amass their wealth. I come in peace. And this one is written by Dr. Manin Sumo here, called The Realistic Identification of the Land Called Liberia, The Secrets, the Truth, or the Lies and the Truth, Part 4. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you for the opportunity to hang out here tonight. We say thanks to all of you who join us. We'll be back here on Friday, God's willing. The Issues Room 253rd edition. Moses couldn't be with us tonight due to bereavement. Alphonso had to run. We had a guest who had some technical issues. But of course, as usual, we always like to do our best here. And we balanced, poised, and to call a spade a spade. Thank you, Thomas. Thank you, Maki Ward. Thank you, Flomo. Thank you to Manisumo. Thank you to Raymond Clark. Thank you to Madeline Menyonga. Thank you to Bennett O'Connor. Thank you to Martin Meno. We say thanks also to Amar Frimer, to James Davids, to Otello Dillon, Yvonne Ayo, Priscilla Myers, and all of you who showed up here tonight. Hashim Fambule, thank you all for joining us. And to those of you who still didn't make it known by just letting us know where you were watching from here in the chat room, we say thank you for your viewership. Continue to join us here Tuesdays and Fridays until September 15th, when we officially go 1 day a week on Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 7 p.m. in Liberia. I'm Volcano Shelton on behalf of Alphonso and Moses. We say good night here in the Issues Room.